usually this is where I say, we're going to throw to an interview right now, but our interviews come to us. We don't have this happen very often.
No, I think this is the second time since I've been on the show that we've had a filmmaker sit down with us.
Yep. Actually live in the episode.
Yeah.
We usually pre-record, chuck it in the middle.
Yep.
It's great to have you here, obviously. You've been on for the last, 20 minutes?
Yeah. That's good. I live just down the road. Like, this is perfect for me. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, like you are. Yeah, you're a local filmmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just come on every week.
Come around and shoot the shit.
Come around, yeah.
8-minute drive it took me to get here.
Oh,
so.
amazing. So let's talk about Ancestry Road, and there's other stuff of yours I want to talk about a little bit as well. But as I said, it's been doing the rounds. Like, you've really done a great job getting this movie out there. It's all over the socials. It's screening at the moment, I believe.
Yeah, it's screened at a few cinemas, and we're hoping, rumour has it, there's more cinemas coming on board, which is great. But we had it down at the State Cinema in Tassie, and they got overwhelmed with phone calls of all the locals that wanted to see the film that was made in Tassie.
It was shot in Tasmania.
Yeah, so they're getting 100 calls a day or something ridiculous. So we're hoping that they put it on again.
I mean, that's got to feel good.
It does, yeah. And it's getting really great reviews. Like, people seem to... It's definitely for older people. I think it's like, adults and parents and grandparents. It's that sort of
people
fun.
like us, we're suckers for, sentimental kind of stuff.
I was going to say, it is the Del Keith of today. Do you remember Del Keith? Do you remember that?
No.
I used to go to the...
Now he's showing his age.
I used to go to the Waverley Cinema, Pinewood.
Yeah,
because they did the $2.50 movies and stuff like that. And they had the exclusive run of this movie, Del Keith, which was set in a retirement home with Gus Mercurio as the star of it.
I do remember that.
And they have a greyhound. They win a greyhound or they rescue a greyhound and then they race the greyhound. And it's just this lovely film about these retired people, all kind of finding a new lease of life around this greyhound called, I think the greyhound...
That would have been around the time of Waking Ned Devine, that kind of... Yeah.
And it was this thing. It was this huge... they played it because they had the exclusive and they had 2 or 3 screens. They just played it 3 or 4 times a week. Every week for a year. Back when movies actually stayed in the
for a while.
Rather than me butcher the synopsis, do you want to just tell people that don't know what is Ancestry Road?
It's about a Scottish farmer and his daughter keeps going up the back of their Scottish property. Scottish, everything's Scottish in this film. Going up the back of the property, and for mysterious reasons, she'll just go up there in the middle of the night, like it's raining, like all these weird times. And so they decide to build a road. A Scottish road. So they can drive their Scottish cars up to the back and get her, basically. And then these mysterious Scottish cars, turn up, and they're deceased family members, like his mum turns up and his grandparents and stuff, and they're not really sure why they keep turning up, and then it's all revealed sort of at the end why it's happening. So it's a sad film. It
is sad, but it's also wonderful. I think it's as uplifting as it is, sentimental and all that kind of stuff. Where did this story come from?
It was a dream. I had a dream one night that my grandparents had turned up to my house, and they passed away many years ago. And they turned up and they saw my kids, and I was like, "Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah,
like, these are my kids. This is fantastic."
Yeah.
And then I slowly was looking at them in the dream, and I'm like, "You guys should not be. This is something's wrong. You should not be here." And then the dream sort of almost became like a horror film. Like, it all started to dissolve away, like something out of Inception or something. And I was like, oh, okay, that sort of stuck with me. And then a few more things, the dream kept coming back. A few more times, different people came to visit. And I'm like, it's kind of a good idea for a movie. Maybe I'll call it The Driveway. So maybe there's a suburban house with a driveway in it. And these, deceased people start turning up. And I thought that kind of works. And then it slowly just got bigger. It was just like, maybe a farm is a bit more cinematic.
It's not far for them to go in a driveway. Like, if you set this in Baronia, grandma's coming up the driveway. She doesn't need help.
Yeah. It's a big...
Check the mailbox while you're there, Nan.
It's a big part of the film that they don't really know where the cars are coming from. It wouldn't work on a short driveway.
Yeah, because the answer would be the shops.
And you'd have problems in... Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think you'd have problems in Adelaide, because when we were there, there weren't that many driveways.
And the shops closed early, so they couldn't come from there.
Yeah, they could have come from the shops.
Yeah, but there's a mystery to this that is really, really wonderful.
And it's never... I like that it never really gets answered. I like that there's no scientific reason. There's none of that sort of stuff. It is very much Field of Dreams, like what we're sort of talking about later, hopefully. It's the mystery. I think the mystery's got way more power than anything that I could explain in a film. And
so you went to Tassie, obviously, to get a Scottish kind of landscape. But tell us about like securing the property that you're on. How do you convince somebody to bulldoze right through the middle of their paddock? Like it's no small thing for someone that owns land.
We got to use the house. That was the first thing that we got, and we loved the house. Like the Bohill Grange was it's an Airbnb in Tassie, so we got to use that. And luckily it was an Airbnb, so it's set up for people to come and visit, which was great. And then the next door neighbours, they owned like a lot of the land around there. So we went and sort of knocked on their door, I think twice over 2 different days. Spoke to the owner, a guy called Pete, and we're like, can we, dig out the middle of your property, just like, this much dirt, basically.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much like, yeah, the tractor's just over there. Just go for your life sort of thing. And we're like, oh, wow, okay, that's great. So we...
Imagine having so much land that you're just like, yeah.
Oh, he's also a better property owner than the one in the movie.
Yeah. Heaps of land. Heaps and heaps and heaps of land. So that was very lucky for us for it all to work out that way, which was really good.
Amazing. And it's no small feat taking a production like when you're used to making films locally, going all the way over there to make stuff. Talk about the casting. Are these Scottish? Like, are they expats? Are they Scottish from Scotland? Are they...
Yeah, so I think we had 3... It's half-half. So we had 3 actual Scottish people in the film.
So hang on, which ones are the...
So Seb, the dad, he's the father of the family. And then Bill, the grandfather, he's actually Scottish. Never acted before in his life.
You're kidding.
So he was a great find. And then I think Alex, he's the guy at the hotel. So near the end, he's also Scottish. But everyone else was putting on accents for the film. So.
Even the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, the youngest boy was dubbed. We had to dub him with a real Scottish kid. So that was the only way we could do that because we found the perfect kid, but not the perfect accent.
So did the casting call for redheads?
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted a lot of redheads in the film, yeah.
Because, like, funnily enough, I have friends in, which I didn't realise, like, in high school, there's a good friend of mine who you've actually met. I won't mention his name, but his mum was had super bright red hair. Both the kids, super bright red hair. Dad, not so much. Like, it really
Brown.
follows through. Yeah,
yeah.
it really follows through the mum. Like it's
my parents never had red hair, but me and my sister do, and none of my kids do. So it's I think it skips things apparently.
Yeah, what's the? We did it in science. It's a something gene.
Yeah,
it's
the red hair.
The skipping gene.
Yeah, where it's yeah.
Dormant.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Just imagine what it's like to have hair.
Yeah, I haven't. It's been so long. Like, you don't know. I could have red hair. I could. You don't know.
I don't.
I don't think I've known either of you when I had hair.
Well, you've got
I don't know. When did we release Apocalyptic? That was...
You've got a blank canvas. Your white
2014 maybe?
2014. I think I'd already shaved my head and got rid of whatever was there. And I was already going grey.
Ah, cool.
That's another film he's made.
Whatever's left...
Too many.
Whatever was left had gone grey anyway. So I could be a redhead. I always had this idea that for a movie called The League of Red-Headed Gentlemen, where it was basically that it was they're actually like a redheads are a split of the like they're not Homo erectus, they're not Homo sapien, it's a different one, and they're slowly being bred out. So they come up with this plan to reintroduce the gene, and like it's like a kind of a James Bond type thing where they're saving they're saving the ginger. There's a whole thing. I had this whole plot which I can't remember now, but it was.
Well, that can be Ancestry Road Part 3 because Part 2 is that horror film you almost described before.
Yeah.
I
think so.
Well, that was the interesting thing in that I don't know how much to give away. I don't know
how much away.
I don't know how much has been given away in the.
I can bleep what you're saying if it does give too much away.
All right.
Yeah.
So, well, it's in the title. So the ancestors are, and I do like the part in the film where the ancestors are so distant that they're kind of just left with whoever's at the house, and they don't know. They've got no frame of reference as to who these people are.
It's like the only joke in the whole film is that little moment that always gets a laugh, always, which is great.
And they're just sitting there like. But I guess that the rule of the film is that they have to be the automobile had to have been invented for them to visit.
Yeah, maybe. I remember a producer had said something to me about that. He's like, "Why is everyone in a car?" I was like, I don't know, it just looks good on camera. I guess it just,
You know
and
how
then
long
and
it's
then
gonna take for
they
a
turn up.
horse?
You know, they need the car for a reason, I guess, at the end. But yeah, there were some. We had a lot of issues with cars actually in the film, trying to get
I was
number
gonna ask
plates
that,
and all that sort of
but
stuff.
did they get bogged? Like, was that a hard road to drive on?
No, the road sort of because it snaked sort of up the road. It was fine. Like if we got bogged once, I think, with the bus going up one day. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh, has anybody from Scotland seen the film yet?
yeah,
Yeah?
and people think it was filmed in Scotland.
That's
Like,
amazing.
Yeah, surprisingly, actually, very surprisingly. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, that's a good sign. It's a win for the accents.
Yeah, we got lucky. I think
Yeah.
there's a Hills Hoist, clothesline in the film that was a bit of a problem, but we got away with that. I think just luckily, hopefully, yeah.
And you've made a habit of documenting everything you do. Like, I know with your last film, you make like behind the scenes features and things like that. You've gone to town on this one too, so people can actually go onto your YouTube or Facebook page and catch some of those.
All that sort of stuff. Yeah, I spent about 6 months making a documentary about how we made the film, which took was a lot of editing on that. I don't know why. And then I've just edited like a sort of like a vlog, I guess, of just going around all the Q&As that we did down in Tassie and stuff. So that'll be on the DVD when that comes out later on. So yeah.
Amazing.
Who's releasing the DVD? Who's picked it up
It's
for
Bounty
distribution?
Entertainment will be
Okay.
releasing it, and so Radioactive have it for theatrical,
Mhm.
and then it'll be on some more. It's just started streaming today. It's streaming, I think, like Apple and iTunes and all the
Yeah.
all the streamers like that. And we'll get some more hopefully. A bit later on. So.
Radioactive have really been like rising up lately. Like they're making a big wave in sort of distribution at the moment. So
Yeah.
got some good stuff coming out. I want to ask about some other films of yours as well.
Yeah. I see you sort of going, I want to know about this film. And
No,
this
I
one.
mean, like, 'cause I have enjoyed what you do. 41 is just like, I think that's just such a freaking great movie. And how many views has that had on YouTube?
We got up to it almost got to like 10 million at one point. I think it got taken off YouTube a couple of times. Like it was there, then it got disappeared, then I had to put it back on again, and all these sort of problems with that. But yeah, YouTube. I think when I initially made the film, we won like every festival we entered, which has never happened to me since, and probably never will again. And I put it up on like a pirated film site because I was like, I want to get the film out there. People started downloading it and people started leaving comments, and they were like, this is actually, we really like this film. It's got it's very low, super low, but no budget sort of movie. And then I took it off the pirate sites and put it just on different streaming sites. But yeah, it just went really well online. It's just digital
Just
online.
a really great, simple concept. Like, it's a time travel movie, but and it works though. Like the logic kind of works and it comes together really well.
Yep.
I love that one. I was going to ask, like, other than, let's just put Ancestry Road out of the equation, because that's always the default answer when you say to somebody, what's your favourite movie that you've made? What do you reckon?
I've got favourite reasons for different ones. So I know like Cinemaphobia was probably the most fun movie to make. That was just we're at a cinema for 41 days. It was exactly. And Dreams of Paper and Ink was probably the easiest film I've ever made. That was just a couple of actors and just
You
me,
know that
me
one
with
blew
the
me
camera.
away. We spoke about that on the show.
Yeah,
when
you seem to
were
like. Yeah. I think you had a similar idea. You were saying years ago. You thought of a film similar to that or something.
like a lot of the concepts were very familiar to me, and the way you shot it, and it was shot at Phillip Island, and I know the location, so that film just spoke to me in a very personal way.
Yep.
And
Yep.
there's no dialogue. It's almost like a large music video, isn't it? Like from start to finish with an actual narrative.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of music and they sing a couple of times, but yeah, there's no one says any dialogue to give away any of the story, so that was sort of the part of it. Apocalyptic was kind of a very quick film. We shot that in like 4 days or 5 days or something, so it's really fast. So
And don't forget Comic Kids.
and Comic Kids, yeah, that was probably the most stressful film to make. That was like the biggest sort of
It's a high concept film.
traveling around all over the place to get that film made. So that was a lot of work, a lot of years on that film, but
Yeah, man.
heaps of fun.
There's independent filmmakers, and then there's independent filmmakers, if you know what I mean. And I feel like you're one of those, and you seem to pull off some really great stuff with very minimal resources. How does a project come together for you? Do you have a team that comes back every time? Do you have to build a new team?
It's always different. Yeah, it's usually just me with an idea most of the time, and I'm kind of like, I think with Ancestry Road, it was sort of like, I think I can make this film. And I feel like Tassie's a good place to shoot it in, but we had to get a whole new cast for everything. So it's always fresh each time. It's always a challenge. It's never
Yeah,
never easy.
I did notice the old Michael Godson wasn't in Ancestry Road. He didn't make the.
No, I didn't.
He's too creepy to be the
Yeah,
granddad or
David.
to be any of the. He could have been like a I guess he could have been the guy in the hospital bed. That's probably all I can. That's probably the only character I could see him playing. In
True.
Ancestry
Actually, I never
Road.
even thought about that. That's yeah. Campbell Shanks.
You're the personification of
What
that.
a great name, Campbell Shanks.
Yeah.
I was like, is that made up? When I saw the credits, I was like, is that made up?
He, I think he was 94. He passed away last year. I think it was pretty sure it was last year, but he was 94, and never acted before either, and gives a little great, small sort of performance of the film, which is excellent.
That's what I was going to say. You're the personification of when people say, just go out and do it. I feel like that's what you do. Like, I know there's a lot of things I'd love to do. I just never do it because, I don't know, with lack of courage. If it's lack of, I just can't be bothered. You just seem to have an idea and you chase it.
Yeah, it's always a lot of work. I feel I guess I just feel itchy if I don't do something. So
yeah.
I know when all this stuff dies down for Ancestry Road, I've got another film I want to get off the ground, but that will end up being the biggest film I ever make. I think that's a really crazy sort of project. So
wow, cool.
That sort of scares me a bit. So I'm not running towards that anytime soon. But it's just a lot of work. I'm I'm up at 5 every morning, just on the computer, just doing stuff and writing things and editing things, and it's just like what you guys do. Like you do it, you love it so much, you just can't keep your hands off it. Really, it's just
Well, you know all about that itch that I have, and I'm talking about
yeah.
You recommended an ointment.
Yeah.
It's called a medical condition.
The second that we fold the show up for the year, because we take a bit of a hiatus over the Christmas break, no sooner do we finish, I'm on the text to him like, we've got to do something. We've got to get back on the mic. I need to be doing something.
Yeah, I think it keeping your mind busy, and it just, I don't know, it just feels right. So I feel weird if I'm not doing something.
Yeah.
And it feels relaxing to me to be doing something. Mm-hmm. Like I can't relax otherwise. It's
fulfilling.
I can't lay down and watch TV. I'm like, I'd rather just be editing something,
All right, big question before we move on to the next segment. So back in the day, Sam Raimi made Evil Dead, right? Very low budget kind of horror film, made a big impact. And then the studio wanted him to remake it. They gave him a massive budget. They said, go and do it again. He gave us Evil Dead 2. If a studio were to say, hey, here's $50 million, remake one of your films, which one would it be?
Oh, that's such a good question. That's a really good question. It would... It'd probably have to be maybe 41, I guess, because we had nothing to make that film. That was less than $4,000 or something to make that whole movie, and I think the story's probably maybe strong enough to be made.
Got a built-in audience too.
Maybe, yeah. But I think I always feel like trying to do that again is just, it would never be as. I think that's what makes it sort of good, because it's so cheap. It's such a it's such a cheap film. But
did you shoot that near the Lilydale Cemetery? I reckon I recognise the Lilydale Cemetery for this.
Lilydale. I don't know about. There was there's no cemetery here, Pakenham.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Pakenham Cemetery. We shot that. Yeah, and we also outside the bottle shop up here as well, and all sorts of places around heaps of Pakenham spots for that, and very locally
you need to
made.
post that movie on the Pakenham notice board.
Yes, I have actually. Yeah. I was like, watch this film. It's made just down the road.
Made
Yeah.
I was going to say this is the non-wholesome part. I've tried. I think I've lasted 99%
Before you do, let's just say, let's wrap up the isolated portion of this and say thanks for coming on to chat about the film. Now, Ben, as you were.
So if you're given a lot of money, if somebody was going to buy the remake rights to make a porno parody of any of your films, which one would it be?
Well, I think life's like a road, and it's a road that wanders up a hillside.
Legislation requires a town permit to build such a lengthy platform or structure, aka the road.
But our property ends on the hilltop, I thought.
This really feels like a gift or something, though, something special.
But why us? Why now?
Who are we to say what is possible? I've never lived this life before. I've never died. To predict or even assume we know what's going to happen.
Face this world, learn its ways, watch it. In the end, you will find clues to it all.